would like to overcome stage fright due to fear of punishment, listen up. Welcome to Speakers Are Leaders podcast with Harry Sardinas and Lily Patrascu. Discover how to become a charismatic speaker and leader so you can attract ideal clients and business collaborations. If you come from an environment where verbal abuse or physical abuse was commonplace, what may happen is that you have an expectation that has been created about people punishing you, whether it's verbally, whether it's physically, and also it can also lead to some sort of rejection, abandonment, and even like silent treatment. It's like you're expecting people to treat you badly everywhere you go. Okay, so what that means is that in any conversation, in any conversation that you have, you are expecting people to treat you badly, including a conversation that you're having on stage. So anywhere that you go, it's almost like you are bracing yourself for conflict. You're bracing yourself because you're afraid that the audience will punish you. And I know it may sound a bit weird, but this is something that I experienced because my grandmother used to beat me every day. And she used to say that I was ugly, stupid, and fat. And because of that, any interaction that I had with strangers was something that I was afraid of. Okay. And I think that also because when I started speaking on stage, I was about 4 years old, and I started speaking in front of a group of 2,000 people, parents and children. And I remember that the audience clapped, and I loved the energy of that. I think I was very much uplifted by the energy of everyone clapping. But then what happened was the introducer, the MC, introduced my name and said, asked me very kindly, "So tell us, what's your name?" And I had forgotten what my name was. Okay. And I was absolutely terrified. But the reason I was terrified was because my grandma had beaten me before I had gone on stage. And she had told me to make sure to remember my lines. And after the event, she beat me as well, right? So I knew what was coming if I didn't perform. So I think the fear of being punished and the fear of having been punished alongside seeing her in the audience really kind of made me so terrified that I felt unable to actually remember my name. Then the band started playing and I was due to sing something and I couldn't remember that either. My brother tried to help me and couldn't do it. So from then, I remember that I was always terrified of speaking in front of large and small audiences. And it's again because I had this expectation that in any conversation, whether it was a phone call, whether it was a stage speaking, whether it was like anything at all where I had to speak with people, I was afraid of speaking to people. Okay, because I was expecting to be punished. So that is where the fear of being punished came from. So if you have a similar background where you have been beaten, you have been, verbally abused, you have been told from a really young age you are not good enough, then this voice may resound in your head every time you try to speak. And you may remember that. And every time you kind of try to do better in any project and start speaking online or on stage, you are expecting to be beaten, to be mistreated, for people to dislike your work. You're expecting bad things to happen when this happens, when you are taking any sort of initiative or positive action or speaking on stage. And that's why what needs to happen is that first you have to acknowledge yourself for trying. The second thing you have to remember is you have to look at the ridiculousness of that. Okay, just because one person disliked you, on one person verbally abused you, or even multiple people who did, does not mean everybody dislikes you. Okay, because what happens is that you kind of tend to get what you expect. And wherever the thing that you're expecting is not there, you are going to go elsewhere. And because you are going to be seeking for that familiarity, you will always go for what's familiar. So let's say you meet 10 people and 10 people invite you to speak, you are going to be attracted most to those people that are likely to treat you badly. And if they don't treat you badly, you're going to find something in what they say that will trigger you, that will make it mean in your head that they actually tried to mistreat you, and even if they didn't. So you have to be aware of this. So of course, sometimes you need therapy, and I did do a lot of therapy, and I did do a lot of counseling with different therapists. And what I have found is that, therapy is a big part of it, okay? Because you have to start accepting yourself for who you are. You have to understand what your value is. And at the same time, you have to start putting a lot of work into yourself and rehearsing. Because if you rehearse your speech and you understand the value of you, and you understand the value of your message, then the likelihood of you being punished for it every time you speak is going to be a lot lower, because you're not going to create that for yourself anymore.
Now, let's see the root of the fear of public speaking, because every single human being in the planet, most of us, we have been punished at some form about public speaking. Do you remember when you were 3-5 years old that your mom or your dad came and told you, hey, don't talk to strangers. Talking to strangers is bad. Don't do it. So it's never about what happened. It's about the story that we make out of what happens. And some people can have a very terrifying and bad experience like Lily. But other people, even this small incident that your mom, your parent come and tell you, hey, don't go and speak with strangers. This is bad. So you can make the story that speaking with the strangers is bad, that speaking with the strangers is not good, that speaking to strangers might harm you, right? And actually, you have been punished because you are speaking with the strangers. And then you go to then you go to business in the future, and business is all about speaking with the strangers, you see? And then, like, for example, I remember that I used to go with Lily to conferences, and it was a property investment conference. So we raised the hand because we were doing property back on the day. So I will ask a question, and of course I was promoting my company while I asking the question, and Lily sitting next to me, and I'm saying, Lily, come on, ask a question. It's free publicity for us. And Lily's putting the hand down. Harry, no way. I'm Lily, come on, let's get free publicity. And Lily said, no, I'm not gonna do it. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on here? Little did I know that Lily has embraced within herself a huge fear of public speaking, to the point that I have reached 1 million people online teaching this about this topic, and we have done over 10,000 people conference live events in Singapore, Peru, Mexico, United Kingdom, and Dubai. And I think that the most complex student that I ever have in my life is Lily. That's how was that fear. It was embraced within herself. And let me tell you something, because if you work on yourself, you can overcome that. Because this is a secret that I have. Lily's 100 times better than me at the moment, and I think that because of she started to work on herself, and she recovered that power, and you can do it too.
So one thing I've noticed, okay, when you don't overcome the fear of stage fright, it can lead to so many problems. One of the first one was missing out on life-changing opportunities. And I remember one time I was in a small group, maybe 30 people, okay? And in that room, there was Richard Tan. He is the founder, the co-founder of Success Resources, a company that has already impacted 10 million people, and they have 10 million people attending their events. And
they represent Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, and the greatest speakers of the world.
Yes. So what's so amazing about that is that they are literally super connectors and connected with world's best speakers and people you wouldn't even dream of being connected to. And they know these people very closely because they bring them speaking worldwide. And Richard Tan asked this, small group of 30 people, among which there was Harry and I, okay, who would like to introduce me to the stage tonight in front of 250 people? And what was interesting was that I put my hand up, but very, very slowly, almost like hesitating and, like
don't pick me, don't pick me, don't pick me.
Kind of like don't pick me. Okay. And I know Harry didn't put his hand up because he wanted to give me the opportunity to do it. And because of that, we both missed out. Okay. And what's so interesting about this opportunity is that people are dying to get this opportunity. Sometimes people have paid like £100,000 for an opportunity like this just to be able to speak at his stage. Because once you speak on his stage one time and he sees that you're really great, then he will give you more opportunities. And, if you are not very good, then he may not ever give you any opportunity. But that is literally like a life-changing opportunity to open thousands of doors for you, because even if he was to never invite you again, the people in the audience would start to associate you with Richard Tan and with his power. And because of that, and also because of the topic that you would cover, and not only because of that, but the network that tends to attend his events tend to be a network of people that are entrepreneurs that want to improve themselves, that want to invest in themselves. And because of that, just that opportunity would have like literally opened so many doors, right? So it's like when you don't overcome the fear of public speaking, when you don't overcome the fear of stage fright, you can miss out on millions of pounds, literally. Okay. And that's why it's so important to, even if you have this fear of being punished by the audience, in the sense of either being rejected, being abandoned, in the sense of being ignored, in the sense of, let's say you post on social media and nobody likes it, or you post on social media and nobody follows, or nobody engages, nobody comments. Okay, what needs to happen is that you need to start appreciating yourself. Okay. And I remember that even though, let's say, I started doing Speakers Are Leaders workshop that Harry designed, for a long period of time after that, I still was afraid of showing up online. So for example, I would post, let's say, even a picture or a video, and I was terrified. I was really, really terrified of being ignored, of being rejected, of people disliking me, of people disliking what I would say in the video. And if you look at me, like if you literally look at me, you would see just how beautiful I was then. Okay. And you would see how.
And you're beautiful now also.
Yeah. I have developed a new appreciation for myself. And that's the thing that changed. And you can say that although perhaps I was, 100 times more beautiful then, because I was, I was a lot younger as well. The thing that has changed now is the level of confidence and the level of charisma, just because of the level of belief that I have now in myself is very different. But if you were to speak to me one-to-one, you would never know I have these issues because I never let that show. Okay. So even if you think you never think about that because you're just like a businesswoman or a businessman and you're very focused and you achieve so many great things in your business, this fear of punishment could still be there in the background lurking and could keep you from so many different opportunities. Now, I know about this because we have met incredibly successful multimillionaires. Okay. And there was this particular multimillionaire that we both loved. And what was so special about him was that when we were speaking to him one-to-one, he was incredible. He was magnificent. I mean, he was likable. He was a great salesperson. He was like, I think he's a 9-figure millionaire. Okay. Like a really, really magnificent person. But when it came to actually inviting him to speak in front of a crowd of even 20 people, he would freak out so much, which was like unbelievable to us. Okay, know what caused it, but what we do know is that if you have a fear of punishment, where let's say your parents punished you when you were young, your parents told you you're not good enough, your parents told you that you don't do this good, or you will never amount to anything, or your parents did, put any sort of like negative label on you. And it doesn't even have to be your parents. It could even be a classmate who said that when you were young. It could even be a business partner who said that when you were 20. There are certain moments in your life that mark you forever. And it's almost like you have this label where you feel that from now on, you are being punished. Okay. What you have to understand is that label is just the label and it doesn't represent you. And when you start to accept and to change, to shift your opinion about yourself with affirmations, such as, I am a confident speaker. I am deeply loved by millions of people worldwide. I am adored for the impact that I create to millions of people. So when you change your perspective from, I'm terrified of public speaking because I'm afraid that people will judge me, because I'm afraid that people will punish me with their ignoring, their rejection, their abandonment, they will laugh at me, or any other fears that you may have related to that are a replica of whatever happened in your past. If you are able to simply appreciate yourself more with affirmations and with visualizations of the person you would like to be, you will find that you will make, with time, gradually, a significant impact in yourself. And because you've made this significant impact in yourself, you're going to make a significant impact in other people as well.
So, more, remember that the fear of public speaking, there are some ways that they do in United Kingdom, and people prefer to die than to speak in public. The reason of this fear, the good news is you're not alone. Everybody have this fear, because every single person at one point of their life, their mom, their dad, the teacher told them, hey, don't go and talk to strangers. This always happened very early age. And we developed story about this, that this is wrong. And sometimes it happens several times. So it's so embedded in our unconscious mind that we don't even know that the fear is there. So good news for you, every single human being out there has fear to speak in camera and to speak in public. Some people have more fear to speak in camera than to speak in public, and other people have more fear to speak in public than to speak in front of the camera. But generally, every single human being in this planet have this fear of public speaking. However, if now you know the cause, now you can work on yourself. Some of you that are listening is gonna take longer. Some of you is gonna take shorter. Some of you, if you embrace it and put your message as the main mission, will lead you faster. But the good thing about this is that when this fear of public speaking is gone, because this fear is showing up everywhere, it's showing up in your bank account, it's showing up in your relationship, it's showing up in your place of work. It's not only there about fear of public speaking. So once you work on that and you become the biggest fear that a human being can have in this planet, you become an empowered person that can achieve anything you want.
Follow us for more charismatic speaker and leader tips.